Hi, good evening, everybody. Thank you for joining us this evening. Welcome to SPTV. I am your medium this evening and your host. My name is Joe. I go by the moniker Medium Joe. I am from the Grimsby area, so shout out anyone from this area of the country. We're going to do some live readings for you this evening. We're going to explain how that works. We're going to just do some hellos as well, so we're going to wait for some of those comments to pop up. But how this works for me very, very quickly is I will be drawn to people's names. So if you put comments on, I will directly go to that person. When we do this work, it's always an experiment. Okay, so sometimes it doesn't work. So I might just be a bit rubbish, but you know what? That's absolutely okay. So whilst we're waiting for some of those comments to come up, we'll say hello. A little bit about me. If you've not seen me before, I've been doing this work now since about 19, so for about 20 years. Hi, good evening, Terry. And I've raised in excess of 20 grand for charity throughout the last 6-7 years via mediumship, something I'm incredibly proud of. And hi, good evening, Kim. Nice to see you. Whew. I'm full of energy this evening. And forgive me if I can't pronounce that right. Rishi Ranisha, but apologies if that is wrong. I apologise if that is wrong. And then Natalie as well. What a beautiful little looking dog on there. Okay. And Deborah, good evening as well, sweet. So lots of people jumping on. That's fab. And Craig, hi, good evening, sir. Is that a bird behind you? It looks like an eagle, is it? Ostrich? Who knows? And Millie, hello. And Anne as well. Hi, good evening. I'm lovely to speak to you. And Heavenly Sprinkles. Hi, sweet. Good evening. Oh, hi, Claire. And Carol. Hi, good evening, Carol. Lovely to see you watching. Thank you so much for joining us. I really appreciate it. And Stephen as well. Hi, good evening from Glastonbury. Hopefully that is somewhere I'll be going this year for Glastonbury Festival. And Carrie Ann as well. Hi, good evening, sweet. Oh, from Canada. So ice hockey, a huge, big thing for me. That's fine. So Richard, I've got Richard in my ear that you'll hear me talking to. That is not my guide. That is Richard, ladies and gentlemen. Are we ready to start? Can we get cracked on? Is that all right, sir? So, guys, chuck some comments in. I'd rather be wrong all evening and get things wrong rather than be told things. So please don't tell me who you want me to connect to. Please don't give me any information, because honestly, I'd rather have an evening where you all say no and be absolutely wrong than be fed from information. Okay, so we'll draw ourselves to different comments that come in. Is that okay? So just start putting those comments in and we'll just see who we're drawn to. Okay, that's fine. We'll go to Paul Smith actually, because his name is the first one that pops up. So as I'm talking to you guys, if you can put yes or no in the comments, or you don't know, please let me know. Paul, as I'm connecting with you instantly, I've got this father figure that comes and steps behind me, okay? He starts making me hack and cough as he's talking to me. I can feel this pain in my chest right here in my heart. So he's referencing a heart issue that took him over, okay? It starts with that almost this coughing and spluttering, okay? So that would have to be, hi, mate. That have to be a father figure that's stepping forward, okay? So, Paul, firstly, that has to be spirit. Now, I want to explain to you, this guy's just come into the room, hence why I'm saying hello to someone. I don't think it's son. I think it's brother. There's like this brother connection that would connect. I don't think it's brother-in-law. I don't think it's son. Perhaps slightly younger in energy, but there has to be this brother type figure that would be in spirit as well, sir. Because you can feel that energy around me as well. Okay, that's fine. One of those individuals, and forgive me because I think of something else, is talking to me about watching cricket as well. So whether that's a memory link with this father figure or that's something that you used to do, but they want me to acknowledge that with you as well. Okay, that's fine. This heart thing is incredibly relevant. So whether or not that connects with dad and his reference, or someone's had issues recently where they've been having heart checks and going hospital appointments, but they want me to talk about that as well. This brother type figure, this other chap, I don't think it's son, I think it's brother. That's who I think it is. But there's certainly this male energy that steps next to me. He's laughing in a jestful way, and he's taking the mick a little bit and almost laughing about someone. He keeps talking about the world's strongest man and chuckling about that. So I don't know if someone started recently doing dead weights with weights, or there's a joke in the family about that, but they want me to reference that acknowledgement there as well. They also talk to me about Michael as well, and they tell me that name is really, really relevant as well. They just put the 7th in my head, and I couldn't really work that out. So forgive me, I think it's 7th of April from what I can gather, okay? So Paul, all these different types of energies coming around you. Someone just keeps saying to me about this watch as well. Now, I can feel myself looking at a watch. So I wonder if you've recently bought quite an expensive one, or you've recently had one of yours fixed, because I can see myself wearing it and almost so symbolically looking at it and checking it and thinking, actually, okay, that looks really nice. So all these different energies that I want to connect with you, the thing I will say to you as well, Paul, as they connect with me, they say happy birthday, happy birthday, happy birthday. They keep saying that, and that's relevant for this weekend. So that's either Friday or Saturday that they want me to acknowledge. Lots of nice energies around you, lots of loving energies around you as well. There's really strong sense to, I'll explain this to you. They're showing me the test for firemen, so I can see myself running up and down a ladder on the floor. So it's like whether it's someone that's looking at going into the fire brigade or someone has been a fireman, but there's reference to that will be really relevant as well. So Paul, I'm going to lead their love with you, if that's okay, sir. And I'm just going to say, God bless. And Paul, if you can just start saying, Richard, if you just start sending some more comments through, please, for me to jump to, I would really appreciate that. I am perfect. So we'll just see who we can go to. We'll just let some of these just fall through first. I can take a little breather with my little Grimsby Town mug. Okay, we'll go to Tina because she's relevant next. Can we talk to Tina, please? Oh, someone's saying they're very hard to hear me. So can some people, are they having issues with that? Can they let me know, Richard, let me know in the comments, please, if that's okay. But there's just been a comment about someone struggling. So just let me know if other people can't hear me. But Tina, can I connect with you, please, sweet? Interestingly, when I connect with you, I want to go to Mum's side of the family first. So I can feel this grandmother figure stepping forward as she connects with me. But she also says to me, she's got the other lady. She's got the other lady. So she wants me to acknowledge that reference there as well. Okay. So I think there's a mother figure that would be in spirit as well, Tina, because there's a sense about these two female energies that are stepping forward together. Now, interestingly, when she talks to me about this other female connection, it's almost like we didn't, there's more grieving or more focus on that about still healing from that. Okay, so they want me to acknowledge this second connection. So that grandmother figure is relevant, but I need to know about this other figure that's stepping forward in my mind as well. Okay, that's fine. Tina, they also say to me as well that spirit trying to link with you as well. So I can feel that energy trying to connect with you. So whether you're going through development or you are a medium or you're interested in that, there's that reference, that connection there as well. Hi. Okay. And Tina, interestingly, they talk to me about Porter Road or Porter Street that they want me to acknowledge as well. So there's this acknowledgement about that being, I don't think it's a last name, I think. Honestly, being Porter Road would make more sense to me, but I think it's Porter Street. That's why I'm hesitant with that. So they want me to acknowledge that preference with you as well. They talk about your granddad stepping forward as well. Again, they talk to me this idea about this allotment and this memory link that's really important with him as well. That's absolutely fine. Interestingly, again, just how your grandmother's chatting to me, sorry, Tina, just trying to work different things out. Symbolically, she's just hung a nurse's uniform up in the cupboard. So I don't know if she's referencing that someone used to be a nurse or a midwife, or someone's just retired. I don't know which way she would symbolize that, but there'll be acknowledgement of that around me as well. Okay, that's absolutely fine. They also want me to acknowledge the name Jack, and they tell me that is relevant as well. And I think that is in spirit rather than here. All these different energies coming around you. Grandma talks to me about this connection with cancer. That would be relevant for one of these females that are on spirit on Mum's side as well, because I can feel that energy just consistently just stepping around in my head. Okay, that's fine. Bless, we can just take a little breathe for one moment. As your grandma just says to me, she connects to me and she said, I'm sorry for frightening you in the house. So she's been trying to get your attention in the house. That's either by moving things or turning things, but it would be that connection, that reference to that as well. What a beautiful lady and a beautiful soul. It's those two energies and this younger energy, which I suspect is mum or auntie from what I can gather. But it's your grand that's talking on her behalf. Okay, so there'll be that reference there. So we please, just on the nursing bed, I'd ask you just to go away and just think about that, if that's okay. Just the way she shows me, I'm not too sure which one it would be. And Tina, interestingly, as we step forward, I'm laughing when I say this because of his personality, but there must be a fatherly figure for us. And there must be a father figure for us that's in spirit as well, because they want me to make that reference there as well. They also talk to me about, I assume it's Margaret or Maggie, but they said mention Maggie, mention Maggie, mention Maggie. Okay, so there's reference to that as well. Okay, that's absolutely fine. I can see you looking at tarot cards or flipping them over as well. So whether or not you've bought some recently and you've been having that connection with yourself and trying to do that, or you do that as a regular thing, but they want me to talk about that being significant as well. The other thing as well, sweet, they also talked to me about this connection about someone just purchasing a new car. So this feels like a younger person. It feels like a younger male that they'd want me to acknowledge about recently just purchasing a cat or recently just passing his test. And when I say recent, that's in the last month or so. So it's really quite recent that they'd want me to talk about that. They also shout the name David to me, so they want me to talk about that as a significant connection in that's on the earth plane as well. So they want me to reference that with you as well. So Tina, lots of different energies coming around you, lots of different spirit personalities coming around you. I do get the sense around this sort of like this psychic shift for you. So we'll put it in two contexts. Either you are a developed medium and there's something new happening in your transition, or they're trying to kickstart you and get you to think about doing this sort of work or doing some form of different style of working with it. Okay, that's absolutely fine. And the other thing I just want to acknowledge as well, there's discussions about this driveway. So I don't think we've had a driveway done yet, but I wonder if someone's looking at either having all the stones removed and having it paved, or they're looking at having the paving ripped up and having these stones down. But there's this sense about someone talking about having their driveway done. Okay, so lots of different connections with that. Doreen or Doris, I always struggle with those two, so I think it's more Doreen, but they say that lady wants acknowledging as well. Okay, and I can breathe. So Tina, that's all those different energies that are stepping forward. So I'm going to leave that with you if that's okay. And that lady, this other lady, if it's not Mum, I don't know who it is. There's this other sense, this other lady that's more recent in the last 12 months that want me to acknowledge that is safe. And that's kind of why this grandmother figure steps forward and acknowledges her. But I can't really get a direct link with her. It's more those other individuals around you, okay? That's so funny though. So Tina, I'm going to leave that with you if that's okay. And I'm just going to say God bless. And Richard, if you could just pop some more comments up, please, for me, sir. The other thing I'd just say is just whilst we're waiting to make that connection is thank you to Richard and the SBTV team, because they absolutely do an amazing job and give me an amazing platform to do this work. We will go to Elaine Wood if that's okay. That's fine. Okay, just bear with me. We need to chat to this chat. Is that, just bear with me, guys, is that here or in spirit? Right, Elaine, I want to talk about this grandfather figure that's stepping forward on Dad's side of the family, okay? Is this connecting with me? He talks about someone that had issues with their stomach or their bowel. So for me, that is cancer of the bowel or stomach that they want me to acknowledge. They talk to me about Henry that's relevant as well. So they want me to acknowledge that name. But they talk about this male that would have passed in that way and would have had a long illness as a result of that, okay? Whether that's your granddad or whether that's this fatherly figure, I'm not overly sure. I know it's a male figure that they want me to acknowledge. Okay, see, granddad's talking about that being really relevant. Okay, he also says to me he knows that there's worries about someone that's got problems with the stomach now as well. So it's not the same thing, but they're going through some testing or some investigations because they've got ongoing issues with their stomach. That's absolutely fine. Your grandmother steps forward on Mum's side and she just said to me, will you let her know we send feathers? Let her know we send her feathers. Okay, and it's almost about calming our anxiety as well. Okay, so there's reference to issues with anxiety as well. Elaine, the other thing I want to say to you is to talk to me, and I'd always want to be honest and want to be rude or offend anyone or be upset anyone. Well, there's this sense about something about, right, okay, that's fine. So there's reference to, and this would be on husband's side. Sorry, I'm getting myself confused to talk to me. I'm not saying this is your husband, but there's reference to someone that had alcohol problems as well. This is the other reference that they want me to make us connect with you, okay? So I don't think that's on your side of the family. I think that's going back on your partner's side of the family, okay? That's fine. So we're going to use your granddad to talk on behalf of your husband because it makes it easier for me to chat to him. So your husband will be helping with this, but it'll come from your granddad, okay? Yeah, he says to me about pulling people around him before he passed as well. So it's about getting everyone around him as well, okay? The other thing he needs to say to you is that it was the pain that was changing his personality at times. So I need you to know he's not in pain anymore and he's got his smile back, okay? And they just said to me, he nearly beat you, he thought he nearly beat it. That's what they just said to me. So there's reference that he gets well and he gets him well again as well, and he rarely declines, okay? I suspect you probably kept him at home because he talks about being proud of being at home as well, okay? So there's that reference there. That's really sweet. You can give me some more details. He talks to me about Sherwood. So I don't know if that's like a road name, so that's Sherwood Drive or Sherwood reference to that connection there. But they want me to talk about that being significant as well. That's fine. So all these lovely energies around you, they're just saying, mention Henry again, mention Henry, tell him Henry's with it, tell him Henry's with it. So there's all these different connections there. Elaine, there's so many people in the spirit. It's really interesting, Elaine. So forgive me for just jumping from person to person to person. When it comes back to this husband type figure in a minute, there has to be a younger male that passed in a bicycle accident or a motorbike accident. There's this sense about someone hitting another vehicle or driving. It's almost like this vehicle hitting us. There's almost this accident where we just didn't see it coming, because I want me to talk about that as well. So almost these three senses: this grandfather figure, husband figure, and this younger male that's with them as well. Okay, that's fine. They also talked to me about Craig, I think, from what I can gather, and they've just shown me an image in my mind, Elaine, about going to lay. I can feel myself going to where someone's buried, and I can feel myself putting something on the top of the coffin, or on top of the gravestone, sorry, or on top of the grass at the bottom of that. But it feels like it's like a little card or an invitation, or there's something slightly different. It's almost like a little wedge. I can't really describe it in any other way, but they know about that connection there as well. Elaine, they also talked to me about the name Josh, and they tell me that is really relevant and important as well. So all these different energies around you that they want me to connect with, that's fine. We can talk about that. And this husband figure is chuckling about someone having issues with the car tires. So someone's just had to either change their car tire because it's flat, or there's reference to them having to need to do that, change that tire, because I can hear just the sound of it just rumbling along as I'm driving, as they connect with me. Elaine, Spirit, tell me how much you miss them and how much of an issue, how difficult at times it is for you to feel like we can cope and move on. And I need you to know they're around us a lot, okay? There's a really strong sense around the anniversary, around February time, the really beginning of February. So that's either the 2nd or 3rd that they'd want me to acknowledge with you as well, okay? That's fun. This husband figure just said to me, he said two things. He said the contract needs signing, so I don't know what that's for, because I don't think that's house. And then he talks about an outbuilding being built. So I'm conscious that lots of people have bars in the back garden now. So it could be something like that, or it could be like a summer house, but there's this sense about someone having this project planned for the garden as well, okay? Your husband just said to me as well, I don't think it's for him, I think it's someone else, but there's reference to having balloons in memory of people that passed as well. So there's a sense about them being sent on, okay? That's fine. Elaine, I want to be really honest with you, just as I start to draw this to a close with this husband figure. I think his mum's in spirit, and I think that because the way he said, it sounded like he said that he met his mum, his mum took him over. So if that's wrong, I apologise, but there's sense about this older female on his side just making that connection with him, okay? So lots of energies around you. I can feel them blowing kisses at you as they're connecting with me, okay? And it's just their way of sending their love to you. So Elaine, I know as well, sorry, just before we go, they just said to me, they know that you ask them to come in your dreams, and sometimes I'm not able to do that. And it's just about allowing them to, I guess it's going through that grieving process and just allowing them just to come in their own time. So they are trying to with that. So you please watch for that, okay? So sweet, I'm going to leave all their love with you. Your husband just said to me that he promised you he'd always come back. That's the other thing that he said to me, which I find quite interesting. And he just said, will you tell her good night? So I wonder if that's the final thing you said to him. So I'm going to leave his love with you, sweet, if that's okay. And I'm just going to say God bless. And Richard, if we could just go to the next comments, please. Okay. Oh, bless. Okay, so yeah, Richard just nodding away in my ear, just asking me if we can just ask all you guys to send healing to Lynn Taylor, who is a regular watcher on this channel. Bless her, she's not very well at the minute. So if we can all send those positive thoughts and positive healing to her, we would be eternally grateful. So thank you ever so much for that. Okay, Richard, let's get some different comments up, please, sir. Okay, that's absolutely fine. Let's keep going. So guys, if you've just joined, just explain very, very quickly. We will go through, chuck some comments on. If I'm drawn to you, I'll come to you, okay? If it doesn't make sense, that's absolutely fine. I'd rather you say 100 no's and not give me any information than you know, go off comments. So just put, like people are doing, that's great. Let's pop some things in like that, and let's see if we can make those links moving forward. Okay, that's absolutely fine. Go to Suzanne Riches next, if that's okay. Chelsea stuff in the back. What? Okay, that's fine. Suzanne, as we connect with you, sweet, I just want to talk about this male that comes and stands behind me. There's so many males around in spirit today. So, sweet, This male feels like it's a fatherly type figure to us. Okay, so I don't think this is granddad. I think this is father. So you would have. Can you just let me know if that makes sense to you, sweet? Because he just steps forward. Just the way he connects, it just feels slightly differently in my mind. Okay. Interestingly, when they're around me as well, there is this older grandfather figure as well. It's kind of bringing this smell of smoke around me as well as they're talking to me. As odd as this sounds, someone's just said to me about selling fish on a market. Now, fishing is massively close to my heart because I'm from the Grimsby area. But there's this sense about someone going back in the family that used to work on a market stall from together, unless you've been buying fish from a market stall in the last couple of days. But there'd be that sense and that connection there as well. Okay, it's fine. There's also reference to someone in the family, a female in the family, looking at doing a charity run. So I'm going to be really honest with you about this, Suzanne. I just want to explain this to you. I think someone's planning to do a charity run. I think it's for someone that passed from cancer, and I think it's a female that passed from cancer. Who that person is, I don't know, but there's a sense about someone raising money in a charity way for that. Okay, so they want me to acknowledge that. My dad just said we've got his watch as well. Okay, and he also says as well, he watches. I wonder if that's it on that picture, but he watches someone box as well. So someone started boxing training as well. And I know it's a really young person because their energy feels really, really young, unlike mine, which is slow and old. So there's a sense about watching that connection there as well. He talks to me about Harold as well. He wants me to acknowledge that name being relevant. So he talks about that connection there as well. Suzanne, he also talks to me about the last name Smith as well. So he tells me that is really pertinent and significant as he connects with me as well. So where that connects in the family, I'm not overly sure. I wonder if it was someone's maiden name because there's that significance there. Okay, so there's reference to that as well. The way your dad comes forward, I've kind of gone off on a massive tangent and kind of didn't really associate with what he wanted to say. So just bear with me because we can go back to that as he connects with me. That's fine. As he connects with me, he just said to me, I'm sorry I had to go. As my time's gone, I'm sorry I had to go. And it's about not having the opportunity to say goodbye to either. That's the other reference and connection he makes with that, okay? And he says to me, that's fine. Just bear with me. I think he's got his sister with him, or sister-in-law. So that would be mum's aunt. That would be mum's sister. Do you understand that, please? Because he's got this other lady that's with him. That's fine. How amazing is that? So the other thing that I want to say to you as well, I don't know if someone's pregnant now and they're due in the next month or so, or someone was born on February the 14th, but he just said to me, born on the 14th of Feb, born on the 14th of Feb. So there's that reference and that connection to that as well. How interesting. Who are you? There's a lady in spirit that connects. It may be a wider family connection, or it may be mother-in-law's side of the family, but they've just said to me, well, you mentioned that Wendy's in spirit as well. So there's this lady that stepped forward who I don't think it's auntie. I think it's either a friend or a mother-in-law side of the family, but there's that reference, that connection as well. How interesting. Right. Well, let me just catch up on those comments a little bit, Suzanne, just as I take a bit of a breather. Your dad talks to me about the name Tony as well. That's kind of how he stepped forward. He said to me, when you talk about Tony, I acknowledge that straight away, okay? But so there is so many spirit individuals around you. It's unbelievable. There's just so much loss there. It's quite sad in that respect, okay? That's fine. Just bear with me. How interesting. So Suzanne, your dad also says to me, oh, perfect, bless you, thank you for confirming that. Your dad just said to me he knows about the prison visits. Now, that's why I was just taking a little bit of a breather, because I didn't know he mentioned someone had been to prison in the family, but the prison visits is different. So I don't know what that is. I don't know if that's someone going there in a job capacity or they're going to visit someone, but he talks about that as well. How interesting. Right, okay. Suzanne, we're going to just move on to some other things, if that's okay. I need you to know your dad's around you. I need you to know he's around you a lot. I don't know if this connects with you. Right, okay, it does. They're saying to me it does. So Suzanne, again, when we do this, I'd rather be honest with you. I'd never want to offend you. I'd never want to be wrong. Never want to be rude or anything like that. Dad says to me that someone passed from being hit in the head and they were punched in the head. Now, I don't know if he's referencing that with the prison thing, or that's something that happened to someone in the family, or that we would know, but would you understand that, please? Because he talks about that being relevant. And when I ask if it is for you, he says, yes, it's for you, yes, it's for you, yes, it's for you, okay? That's fine. How interesting. So we'll just see if that connects with you. Just whilst wait for that link to come back, by the way. I have a page on Facebook, guys. It's called @MEDIUMJoe. So it's at @MEDIUMJoe1, I think you can find it as. It's got the Humber Bridge in the background. But please check it out, and please check out what I do on there as well. Post a lot about my charity work and stuff on there as well. Okay, so Susan, I don't know if that's coming up. So we're going to just leave that for one moment, but I'm going to leave all their love with you, okay? But just before I move on, I should probably finish that, shouldn't I, before I get excited and jump on to the next thing. I guess Dad acknowledges there's something about this prison stuff that's really relevant. I can't kind of figure it out, but I wonder if it relates to someone that passed from an injury. Like, it's almost like someone had a fight and they accidentally hurt someone. It's that sort of analogy that I want me to acknowledge. So hopefully that makes sense to you, Sweet. I'm going to leave that love with you, your dad's love with you as well. And he just winked at me as he walked off. So that's his way of just referencing. He's quite a cheeky chappy as well. So I'll leave that with you, Pat, and just say God bless. Richard, are we having any adverts this evening, or are we just back through? Yeah. Should we pop some adverts now, guys? And I'll be back in 30 seconds.
Spiritual Psychics TV is hosting our annual recognition of achievements, acknowledging those who dedicate their lives through spiritual acts of kindness. Candidates can register and put themselves forward to be acknowledged. Viewers can also nominate who they feel should be recognized for an achievement. Exclusively broadcasted live on SPTV, with 100% of the public votes being announced on Saturday the 27th of May from 7:30 p.m. For more information, please visit awards.spiritualpsychicstv.online. Spiritual Psychics TV, bringing spiritual people together.
MySpiritualDirectory.com is one of the fastest growing online free listing service. Our search directory offers geolocation feature, rating ability, review system, map location, customer comment, YouTube video, gallery, social media sharing, direct contact with the lister, simple online booking and payment system. It's free to register and use. It even creates your own mini web page, which you can update at any time, and yes, it's still free, no monthly or yearly fees. 100% free. Creates your own profile page. Add social media and other links. Add a mini gallery and a YouTube video. Rating, reviews and comments. Includes online booking and payments. So, if you're looking for a medium or a reader, even a church, maybe a healer, or any other spiritual service, then visit myspiritualdirectory.com.
Rachel Galbraith joins us tomorrow from 8 p.m. for an evening of palmistry and tarot readings.
Oh, perfect. Okay, guys, Richard just, we'll tell Richard. It was just saying, oh, you're live. I forgot to count you in. So as I was just jestfully daydreaming, or not jestfully, but happily daydreaming. Right, guys, welcome back. Medium Joe with you this evening. Hopefully you enjoyed that first part. Just to reiterate, start getting some comments through, so ask which to put them through. I'm drawn to people's names and I'll just see who I can get to. Please don't put any comments in about who you want me to connect with, because I'd rather be wrong all evening than you give me information, which has just asked me to mention that you can nominate and put yourself forward as a candidate as well for SPTV Awards. So guys, if you do stuff with SPTV and you want to nominate someone or put someone forward, go ahead. There's absolutely loads of mediums and different people that join this page and join this channel, and they do really good work as well. So get on there and get nominating people, and good luck to everyone that enters. Okay, right, let's carry on going through. Okay, that's absolutely fine. Let's see who we can connect with. We'll go back to that last one if that's all right, Rich. I don't know who that lady was before that. The one before that, if that's okay. Yeah, we'll go to Michelle if that's all right. Let's see if we can work with you, if that's okay, Michelle. Okay, that's fine. How interesting. Right. Michelle, I need you to put in the comments yes or no as a connection with this, okay? And apologies for squirming then. Michelle, there's a younger chap in spirit that connects with you, okay? So there's this younger male here that wants to be acknowledged, and he keeps saying to me, I'm sorry, I'm sorry, I'm sorry, tell her I'm sorry, tell her I'm sorry, tell her I'm sorry. And he keeps saying that to me over and over again, okay? Now, I know he's being supported by this older male on dad's side of the family, so there's this grandfather figure that's coming through. They talk to me about the name Frank that's relevant as well. So, Michelle, I need you to put, if you understand about this younger male that's in spirit that would connect with us, and also this older male, this grandfather figure that would connect with us as well, okay? That's absolutely fine. As we're saying that and coming through to you as well, instantly I just want to put my hands on your shoulders and just give you an unbelievable amount of healing as well. So lots of spiritual healing. So there's physical illness and physical health stuff that they want me to acknowledge that's being relevant there for you as well, okay? It's always about people, you know, expectations, unrealistic expectations and judgments on us as well. So constantly just having to fight that as well. So I feel like my headspace is just full at the minute as well, okay? So there's reference to that that's being significant. This younger male, whether it's a brother or son or nephew, there's a sense about that wanting to say that he's sorry, okay? So there's reference about how he passed over to the world of spirit, okay? So all these different connections that are coming through, and he just says to me, I just know about the post-mortem, and I just know about the documents, I know about the coroner's report. So all these different things that they want me to acknowledge with you. They also talk to me about money problems and saying that that was either an issue or been an issue for someone recently, because they want me to acknowledge that reference there as well. They also say to me that Russell is important. So they talk about Russ, and they keep saying to me about Russ, over and over again. That's fine. And breathe. Everything's about this younger male and how he connects to us, okay? And I just feel like things are scatty and chaotic around us, and it's not necessarily about what we're doing, it's just about those energies around that, okay? That's absolutely fine. It's actually dad then that connects in that way. That's fine. He kind of, the way he stands next to you, that was the reference that kind of got me. So I could feel his grandfather and your grandfather, and that sense there, and it's that conveyance about saying sorry, okay? That's fine. I'm going to talk about how he passed, but there's that acknowledgement there, okay? Oh, right, okay, that's fine. So there's that reference there. Thank you ever so much for confirming that, sweet. I really, really appreciate that. So just a reference for everyone else and for you, Michelle, that pull that you come, that's why when I saw that message about feeling pulled, that reference there is about him trying to get through and convey that message to you. And he says he's sorry he's not been able to come through before. He's sorry he's not been able to come through before. So it's that reference, that connection in that way, okay? That's fine. He kind of holds symbolically, he holds his head down, and it's almost like he wants to acknowledge that he knew that wasn't the way out, and he knew that wasn't the way to solve it, okay? And he's just so sorry about that. That Russ connection, you know, as odd as this sounds, there's something, every time I think about that name, this dog pops into my mind. So I wonder if there was like a little Westie or a little terrier, this reference, this acknowledgement of that as well, okay? That's absolutely fine. So this little dog that's with your dad as well, okay? That's absolutely fine. No wonder you feel like you're getting tension headaches and migraines at times, Michelle. You've got all these different things going on and all this pressure around you, okay? And I guess Dad's wanting to come through and take some ownership and acknowledge that he's sorry for that, okay? And I guess that's his reference to that. He says he needs you to remember his smile, and he's sorry that he didn't open up to people as well, okay? And I guess it is that toxic masculinity into that affects and permeates society, you know, that being that he wasn't able to open up to people, because it wasn't about the family dynamics, it was about just where his headspace was at, and he apologizes for that, okay? That's fine. The other thing I just want to say to you as well, I can feel smoke around me as I go to sleep as well. So I wonder if there's reference to someone either that made a decision to take their life in a car, or there's reference going back with someone having that issue with like a gas issue in the house historically. So that's not coming up, that's nothing that's going to happen, that's previously happened, okay? That's fine. Oh, perfect. It's that Russell connection. I guess that's your dad's way of just referencing that child, that Russ name, if that's relevant for the family now, okay? That's fine. So Michelle, I'm going to leave their love with you. It's your dad. It's quite scatty and quite all over the place in my head. And I apologise about it. You can see kind of from how animated I am. So I'm going to leave it there if that's all right. I need to know that your dad's safe. He's with his father as well. So I'm going to leave their love with you if that's okay. And just say God bless it. And Richard, if we can go on to the next comments, please. Oh, that your cousin died in the house. Right, okay, that's fine. That's interesting. Thank you, Michelle. How interesting. Okay. Let's see. Oh, I'm loving that. People having conversations in the comments. That's brilliant. We'll go to Melvin, if that's all right. Melvin Peters, if that's okay. Right. Melvin, if I am pronouncing your name wrong, I apologise about this, and I'm laughing for one particular reason. But Melvin, I want to just talk about all these different spirit personalities around you. Okay, so just need you to say yes to a number of days. There's a father figure in spirit. Okay, so they want me to acknowledge that. There is also a male that comes and sits next to us as well. So this is either a husband / partner or a brother connection that would be in spirit as well. Okay, that's fine. And Melvin, there has to be a mum figure in spirit as well. Now I'm laughing about the Pete. Every time I think about your last name Peters, I keep thinking of Peter Peters. So I wonder if there's someone that had that name. As odd as that might sound, I wonder if that was relevant in some sense. They talked to me about the 12th of June, and they tell me that name is really significant and symbolic because they want me to acknowledge that reference there as well. Now, interestingly, sweet, there is a male, I think this is male, there's reference to someone that passed from a liver condition as well. Now, normally, I would attribute that to alcoholism. However, I don't think it is that. I think someone had liver failure. So there must have been someone that passed from that way because they want me to talk about that as well. And believe it or not, Melvin, I do not think you've got parrots now, but there is parrots with them in spirit. And they say, mention the parrots, okay? So there's that acknowledgement there as well, okay? That's fine. So husband and mum in spirit, that's perfect. There has to be a fatherly figure as well. So if that is dad, that's great. If that's not, that's absolutely fine. But there's that sense of that other male that's around us as well. We mentioned Paul in the last one, but they talked to me about that name being relevant here as well. And they talked to me about the younger child, the grandson or great grandson, whatever the context it is, about this younger child that's been digging the garden and putting plants in or putting plants in pots, because I can see myself muddy. And the more I think about that, I think that's at a nursery or a daycare centre, because there's an acknowledgement and that reference there as well. So when mum, I don't know if I said this a moment ago about mum, but if I said mum was in spirit, I wasn't sure if there was this reference to it was you that does knitting or mum that used to knit, but there's that sense there, which normally that prompts that reference there as well. How interesting. Melvin, as it connects with you, they also, so I don't think you're the rapper, I don't think you are at all, but I wonder if there's someone that's in the family that's looking to get into a music career, or that has looked at doing some recording, or is that is a vocalist or a lyricist in some sense, and that would be a younger male that I could pick up around me, okay? Now, I mentioned the name Josh earlier for some connection, but that would be relevant for you somehow as well, okay? That's fine. And just as I build that link with them, again, an interesting guy, isn't it? Not in it. Isn't it interesting how it just sometimes I get so frantic and just so quick with my thoughts to just how they step forward, okay? So lots of different individuals there, okay? That's fine. Your mum just said to me, she's laughing, so it's jestful in nature. You just said, could be cantankerous at times, you know. So I wonder if your mum suffered with a lot of arthritis before she passed, because there's something about where she might be a bit on edge and a bit just frustrated at times as well, okay? And they just said to me as well, sweet, will you sign the documents? That normally that is reference to power of attorney or certain roles and affairs, but there's reference out. That's not a for coming for anything, but that's reference to watching things that are happening going on around us in the family, okay? That's fine. Your mum says that she can't wait to dance with you when she sees you on the other side. So that, again, that's not forewarning anything, but that's a future reference, and it's about your mum when she was younger. So mum used to dance in some capacity as well. So sweet, lots of energies around you. How amazing. Right, okay, Melvin, you must have a sister or a sister-in-law connection in spirit as well, because there's this lady that's just come and sat down next to you. It could be friend, actually, so I don't think it's sister or sister-in-law. I think we've got a friend in spirit as well, because I've got this reference, this connection with this other lady that's kind of hovering around me in my mind as well, okay? That's fine. Right, sweet, I'm going to leave their love with you if that's okay, and it's mum blowing kisses towards you, okay? It's just that reference that they're all around you and trying to make that connection with you. So I will leave that with you if that's all right, and just say, God bless. And Richard, if we can just jump through some more comments, you'll see as the evening goes on, guys, that I'll get more tired and I start to, so I apologise about that. That is the joys of working and doing this as well. Okay. Let's see if we can do that. I'm interested by all these comments, Richard, that are coming through about Amsterdam. It's making me want to go. Right, let's see what let's see who we can connect with. Let's just wait for these comments to come through. And just whilst I'm waiting for these, we'll go to Melanie Mullins if that's the case. We'll go back to that connection. just whilst we're doing that again, just guys, can you please check out my page and stuff? It's away from this that Medium Joe one. I think Richard will pop it in the comments, hopefully. But it has a lot about my charity work and things that I do on there as well. Fab. Right, Melanie, hi. Can we connect with you, sweet, if that's okay? It's a grandmother figure that I want to connect with, and interestingly, it's not psychic stuff it's not spiritual stuff I kind of want to talk about. It's more reference to other psychic stuff that would be relevant for you. Okay, so it's almost like they're telling me it's a rabbit out of a gate. It's almost like an analogy of a rabbit out of the gate and it just running, and that's reference to psychic and spiritual development. Okay, so there's something about that where there is a massive pull and urgency to kind of just jolt you and get you focusing on that more and more and more. Okay, so there's that really strong sense there with you. The other thing that I want to say to you as well, Melanie, is I connect with you. We'll talk about that now. They want me to acknowledge that you should be, or you have been, reading more books about this work as well, because I can feel myself looking at that as well. Interestingly, grandmother steps in, but there's another lady that keeps stepping into my head as she connects with me. So if mum isn't spirit side, I apologise, but I wonder if there's mum in spirit. I don't think it's auntie, but there's a sense about this other lady that just keeps stepping in and stepping out, stepping in and then stepping out, trying to get my attention. Kind of stands where mum would be, but that's not. In fact, we can ask her and talk to her. She talks to me about Maud with her in spirit as well, so I don't think that's that lady's name, but there's a reference to that as they talk to me. Okay, that's fine. And Melanie, and they also connect with me as well. They also want me to talk about a child that would be in spirit that goes back in the family as well. So there's this sense about this child that's born and then taken to spirit. Okay, so that's reference to what I understand with that, a little boy that they want me to acknowledge. We can talk about that. And they reference about the September the 18th being significant as well. So that date is significant as well. Okay. Whew. And Melanie, there's almost this, not almost, there's also this sense about a father figure that's in spirit horrors as well. So there's this sense about this other connection that's coming through. And isn't it interesting? I should learn to speak properly. Isn't it interesting how mum just steps in and just steps out, steps in and steps out? Okay, so she's around us constantly. I wonder if it's her that brings that really strong cigarette smell in my face. I can almost feel like I'm walking to someone's kitchen, not into the rest of the house, but I can walk into someone's kitchen and can smell this cigarette smoke. That's fine. Melanie, how interesting. Again, don't think this is you, but there's this reference and connection to mum knowing that someone's been smoking cannabis here as well. Okay, so there's a sense that she'll be watching this younger male, from what I can gather, smoke cannabis as well, so she knows about that going on as well. So whether that be a neighbour or someone's friend or whoever, she's been watching those conversations or listening to that take place. Okay, your mum's around you a lot. She said that she used to sit there with a ring on her finger and she used to twist it constantly as well. So she'd just sit there and that would be her way of just focusing and just playing with it on her hand. Okay. She wishes she got a chance to say goodbye to you and she knows that you tried to do that. Okay. So it's that sense about trying to be with her before she passed. How interesting. Whether that's Max or Maxine, I think it's more Maxine, but they want me to acknowledge that name as well. So there's lots and lots of spirit people around you. There's also a male, interestingly, that passed in an accident. I think he was hit by a vehicle, or I don't know if it's a bus or a lorry or a train, but there's this distinct feeling about this wider connection as a friend connection to us that just got hit and just impact into spirit. Okay, so they want to acknowledge that reference as well. That's fine. I think this grandma that just said to me, "Well, I put my teeth back in," so I think that's a joke with her. I don't think that's mum. I think that's more your grandmother. Okay, that's fine. So all these different spirit, that interesting. When I think about cannabis, by the way, I always get the smell of it in my head, and it always catches me off guard. So that's interesting. That's fine. So Melanie, it's your mum's love that I want to leave with you, and it's a grandmother figure that I want to connect with you as well. I was going to say to you originally it was more psychic in nature, but as those energies just started to build around you, it's those individuals that I wanted to bring forward. Your mum takes my hand as she's talking to me, she starts kissing it over and over again. She says, mention Mary, mention Mary, mention Mary, mention Mary, mention Mary. Okay, that's fine. We'll talk about that. Where's that from? She says to me, have you found the Roman coin? Have you found the Roman coin? So there's coins I imagine that are passed down in the family that are significant. How fascinating is that? Right, Melanie, I don't know if this is on dad's side of the family or mum's side of the family. I know it goes back, so it's either grandfather or great grandfather, but there's something about someone bringing a totem back from Africa or from South Africa from when they traveled there, and the reference to witchcraft or magic that's relevant for it. I'm not saying it is witchcrafty or magic, but there's reference to a story or a tale about that. That feels like when someone's been away to the war, and it's something like World War I or World War II, whichever one of those two are relevant, but there's that sense there as well. Okay, that's fine. Sweet. they also, oh, there's so much, I apologize for just going, there's also reference to this drop in my face as well. So I didn't quite catch whether it was male or female, but there's this sense about this individual that passed from the stroke connection as well, okay? There's also this wider sense, this wider connection as well about a male who collapsed in the street and had to have CPR on his chest. So again, I think that's either on in-laws or dad's side of the family. So there's all these different energies around me. I just feel this guy just dropped to the floor and just this sense about doing CPR on his chest and trying to rest him, trying to revive him, but he says he just went, he was just gone, okay? That's fine. They said mention Neil, he's important, mention Neil, so that name is really relevant as well. Bless you, that's fine. Right, Melanie, I'm going to leave their love with you if that's okay, and I am just going to say, God bless, that's fine. Well, that totem thing, please have a look at that, please, sweet. There's that reference there. So Richard, we will just pop through the rest of those comments if that's okay. Let's see who we can go on, and if there's a Sheila going to pop up, we're going to talk to Sheila. Okay, that's fine. Yeah, fine. I'm loving all these people chatting in the group and stuff. How amazing is this? Okay. Can we go back to Maya, please? Can we try and connect with her? Maya, I could be, firstly, good evening, hello, or good day, good morning, whatever time it is in New Zealand currently. How interesting. Maya, I could be completely wrong with this, and if I am, I'm absolutely apologise. I think there's connection to physical mediumship somehow around you, or you've been looking into that. Or there's this reference to a different style of physical mediumship that's relevant. So can we start with that first, please? Can we also just start with this grandmother figure on mum's side of the family that steps forward? She's then just starting to bake, but interestingly, it looks a different type of baking. So whether that's bread or that's a different sense, but there's that sense around us as well, okay? Maya, or Mia, whichever one it is, I apologise if I'm getting that slightly wrong. There has to be this connection to this mum figure that would be relevant for us in spirit as well. So there's really strong sense about this other female that's stepping forward in my mind. And then she just not throws down, but she places down, she drops someone from her hand onto a table. These rings that are symbolic and significant for a female that's in spirit as well, okay? That's absolutely fine. How interesting. So hopefully, Maya, you can understand this so far, because there's another interesting thing that I want to talk to you about that's a little bit obscure as well. So we'll make that reference there. Your granddad steps forward on dad's side of the family, and then he brings through this connection of this male as well. So we've either got father or uncle in spirit as well. I think this is a father connection that they want me to reference. But there's also talk about someone that used to have a shotgun on their land as well. So they want me to talk about that being significant as well. And that would be a memory link that goes back on dad's side of the family. I'm loving how these spirit energies come through for all of you tonight. All these spiritual people that are joining and linking and just creating that energy is absolutely fantastic. Okay, so sweet. Just as we're clarifying that, there has to be this grandmother figure in spirit on mum's side. There has to be this mum figure on mum's side, and there has to be this fatherly figure, uncle on dad's side of the family as well. Okay, that's fine, because all these different connections are coming through. Whether it's Vivian or Veronica or certainly this really strong female B name that steps forward in my mind as well, because I talk about that being significant and symbolic as well. That's absolutely fine. Whew. So I wonder if there's a memory link. It could well be your property now, but it goes back. There's a memory link in reference to a connection for the stars being really symbolic as well. So I can almost go outside in my garden and just see the Milky Way and just see these constellations just going across the sky. So there's this really strong sense of that being a strong memory link for us as well. Right, sweet. It's all those different energies that are stepping forward. I don't know whether or not you're able to connect with them or not. However, there's this strong sense about this physical mediumship stuff that we are looking into. Or we're going to go see a physical medium, but there's this strong sense in that capacity as well. So I'm going to leave their love with you, if that's all right. Apologies, I can't see any more comments coming up, so hopefully that makes sense to you. But I will leave that with you and just say, God bless. And Richard. Perfect, that's fine. If we can continue, Richard, if that's okay. Need to take a breather just for one moment. You'll see as we start to slow down, guys, it just I struggle to make that connection go on, because an hour doing this is quite that's fine. We'll go back to that last one if that's all right, before Claudette, I think it was, before that lady. No, it wasn't. It was the Cape Town one. Okay. Ah, there we are. That's fine. I'm not sure how to. Well, Tracy, I assume Tracy, your first name. If not, I apologise. Tracy, it's this father figure that I wanted to bring forward first for you. Okay, so I've got this male that steps behind that tells me just went to spirit extremely quickly. Okay, as soon as I can feel that energy just step into my mind. Okay, he says to me he knows about the issues and the stresses that's going on with someone's house at the minute. So someone's. An example might be they've had a house that's fallen through the sale of it, or someone's going through a divorce. So I don't think that's you, but someone's going through separation. There's arguments about this house. So you can see that going on around us. So sweet. There's two things there. There has to be this father figure that's for us in spirit. And then there's this other sense about, you can see this trying to resolve this issue around this housing complaint or specific issue as well. Okay. Whether or not that's Stephen or Simon, but he references that name being relevant for me as well. There has to be this other energy that's connecting with us as well, because there's a sense about this other energy that's stepping around us. Don't think we've got husband in spirit, but there's a sense about this brother connection or friend connection that's around me as well, because I can feel this energy laughing and jovially around me and almost jestingly trying to get my attention as they talk to me. Okay, your grandmother says to me as well that she's been trying to make a presence known around you as well. So there's these smells that they're bringing through to you, these fragrances that they're trying to connect with you as well. Interestingly, you might need to go back in the family for this, but there's this sense and connection about someone that had a twin that's in spirit. So I don't know if that person grew and then passed away, or it's referenced to very early on in age, but there's that significant connection there as well. They talk to me about Darren as well, or Daryl. There's this D-A-R sounding name that's relevant as well, that I think is that's living. Your dad as well. Your dad's making me laugh as he talks to me, so it's quite an interesting chat to talk to, but I think he's reflecting on your energy. He talks about how mischievous, perhaps the wrong word, but he talks about how wicked your sense of humour is, and I can feel myself laughing and chuckling away. And he said, ask about the bar, ask about the bar, ask about the bar. So someone used to own a bar. I don't think there worked in. There's reference to someone that used to own a bar as well. I think that's more on mum's side, or you used to do it. There's that really strong sense with that as well. Okay, that's fine. Dad's laughing about a story and a memory link about laces in his shoes as well. So that must be from his childhood, or there's jokes about that going back. I can feel I've got no shoelaces in my shoes. Okay, that's fine. So there's that reference there. They say they've got the man that passed in the motorcycle accident as well. So whether or not that's that Daryl connection or it's someone else, but it would be along those sort of lines. Okay, so there's all that sense there as well. So they talk to me, it's about standing up and saying that we are strong and saying no to people at times as well. So it's about taking control of situations that are around us that are important as well. That just said to me, you're horrendous with keys as well. So whether or not you've just lost some keys recently, or you've bent this key, broke this key, but there's that sense that being relevant for us as well. That's fun. Dad just said to me, even though I don't smoke, can I have a fag on his behalf? So Dad was a smoker as well, from what I can gather. Okay, he's such a strong-minded individual. He's obviously a father figure to us, but he feels like a friend as well. Do you know when you've got that rapport with a family member that just there's that bond and that unconditional love, but he feels like he's a friend as well. You know, he's very youthful in that sense. Not that that's wrong. Let me rephrase that. He's very much grounded and just very much logical and sensible, but it's just lovely connection with him. Okay, but someone must have owned a pub or owned a bar, because it's so important. So symbolically, he talks about John that's with them, but symbolically, I don't know if this was him or your granddad. If it was him, it's symbolic, because your granddad, it's well than him. Someone just docked a flat cap, and it's their way of just letting me know that they're going. So there's that link there. Okay, so I need to let you know that your dad's around. I need to know that connection's with you, and I'm going to leave their love with you. And the name Richard is relevant with that as well. Right, Richard, I think I am pretty much out of energy, sir, if that's okay. So I'm going to start to draw things to a close. Guys, thank you ever so much for your energy this evening. And thank you, STV, for allowing me to attend again. I really genuinely appreciate the opportunity. And thank you to Richard for doing all that hard work in the background. I've been Medium Joe. I hope you have a lovely evening and enjoy the rest of your week. Goodbye.